Welcome to Kutaki no Ha, the podcast dedicated to the Bujinkan martial arts of Masaaki Hatsumi Soke and to the spirit of cooperation and friendship in the Bujinkan community. I'm Shawn, your host. This is episode 30, and we're back after another little bit of a break. Although this is the beginning of November, we're going to consider this to be the October episode. Okay, so this is the October episode, and hopefully before the end of November, I will be putting out the November episode, and then in December I will put out the December episode, and basically I'm planning to wrap up the podcast for the time being with these 3 episodes. So basically by the end of this year, the podcast will be put on, let's say, an extended break, just because I don't have enough time. And I have been whining and complaining about that for quite some time, as the regular listeners know. And basically it's just come down to the point where I have to kind of face reality and my own time limitations. I would still like to put out episodes, but I would like to be able to do so on a regular basis so that I don't always feel like I'm behind, and I don't always feel like I have this like obligation hanging over my head to put out an episode, and just the kind of pressure that I give myself to do that is a bit of a pain, so to speak. So I am basically going to put the podcast on vacation at the end of this year, as of the December episode. So maybe I'll revive it in the future. I'm not sure. We've had this discussion also on the forums. Should I keep doing it? Should I not? And of course, a lot of people who listen to it seem to like it. But I have to put quite a bit of effort into putting the episodes together, and just the time it takes to do it and stuff. I just really can't really justify doing it right now. So, although I have had a great amount of help from Eva and other people, including everyone that I have interviewed and who has sent me music and suggestions, which I'm very grateful for, we will kind of be doing this October episode, November episode, December episode, and then I'm just going to put it on vacation for a while. So just so everyone knows that that's what's going on, that's what's going to happen. So no surprises for anybody when that actually winds down at the end of this year. The next 3 episodes, though, we do have some pretty good content. Thanks a lot to Eva, again from Hungary. She interviewed 3 of the instructors at a seminar that they had in Budapest, Hungary, in September. And after interviewing the instructors, she sent me the files, and I'm going to include them in the podcast. Of course, the instructors know where their voices will be ending up, which is basically all over the world in the ears of you guys. And speaking of kind of being all over the world, I don't know how many people have noticed the cluster map, which I added to the left-hand side of the Kutaki website screen. And basically what that does is it tracks your web server access log and puts a little dot on the map where it determines the IP address to be, which access the site. And it's on the main page of the site, so all of the IP addresses which access the main page result in a little dot on the map, and the size of the dot depends on how many accesses have come from that particular area. And when I first put it on, of course, it took some time to build up, but looking at it now, it's pretty impressive. I think there are so many people from all over the world that are checking out the site and participating in discussions. It's really quite nice to see that the Bujinkan community, or at least people who are interested to some extent in Bujinkan martial arts, kind of have their place there on the map, and it looks pretty cool. So if you haven't checked it out, just click on there and it'll pop up and show you where everybody's coming from. We have some music to start off with before we get into the interview. The first interview will be with Pedro from the Canary Islands. Eva will introduce that interview just before it comes on, so I will not go into that, and I'll let her do that. For right now, we have a song coming up, which I pulled off the Pod Show network at music.podshow.com, which is free podcast safe music for podcasters to use. The first song that we are going to have is by an indie band called Kaplin, and the song is called Shadow-esque.
Hello everyone, this is Eva, and I'm here again because I have something for you. Some real delicacies in my pocket. On the 15th and 16th of September, we had a great seminar here in Budapest with a very special guest, Shawn Pedro González from Spain. And I thought that I would take this rare opportunity and make an interview with him and ask him about a few things which usually tickle people's mind. At least that's what I saw on the forums. And I also heard that two more very experienced and well-respected Shihans would attend the same training. So I approached them too and asked if it would be okay with them to make an interview with them as well. And they also graciously accepted my request, and finally I managed to make 3 interviews with all the 3 of them. And I hope that we can publish these interviews in this and the next episode of the Kutaki podcast. But before we hop on to the first interview with Pedro, I would like to say thank you to all the 3 of them for devoting time and energy for these interviews and answering my questions. And also another thank you goes to Reinhard Kulterer, who's been a huge help with translating Pedro's words into English and our words into Spanish. And also one more thank you to István Rácz from Hungary, who provided us with the necessary device, the MP3 recorder, as my MP3 recorder just broke down. And last but absolutely not least, a big thank you to David Holt, who organized this great event and made it possible for everyone and available for everyone. So now I quit bubbling, because I guess that you're more interested in listening to the interviews than listening to my crappy Hungarian accent. So I hope you will enjoy them. Here you are. Okay, welcome everyone. This is the next interview episode in the Kutaki podcast. And my special guest now is Pedro González Shawn. And he's giving a seminar here in Hungary now. And I took this rare opportunity to ask him about some issues in the Bujinkan. Welcome, Pedro.
Thank you very much.
And first I would like to ask, when and how did you get in touch with Bujinkan?
Yo en los años 80 practicaba un arte marcial que se llama Shorinji Kenpo.
In the 18th, he was practicing a martial art calling
Shorinji Kenpo.
Shorinji Kenpo.
En aquellos entonces descubrí que era un arte marcial que a mí no me permitía ser creativo.
So he found out that this was a martial art that cannot let him to be creative.
Y de repente, como por magia, apareció un seminario que daba Bob Fitzmunte, que en aquel tiempo era la persona más conocida de la Bujinkan en Europa.
Okay. And like imagine, there was appearing a seminar of Mr.
Bob Munte.
Momute, and he was at this time the most important person in the European Bujinkan.
Y participé en ese seminario y al año siguiente estaba en Japón.
He was participating at the seminar, and next year he was in Japan.
Realmente mi interés es porque descubrí que a través de la Bujinkan la creatividad que tiene el ser humano puede ser desarrollada.
For me it was very important because he found out that in the Bujinkan the human creativity can be disinvolved.
Y la creatividad humana es muy importante para encontrar lo que todos buscamos, la iluminación, ¿no?
And the creativity is very important for everyone who is looking for enlightenment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And you've been to many countries because you are invited for seminars, traveling around, and you have been to Japan as well. How many times have you been to Japan?
50.
15 times.
Wow.
50 times.
That's much.
50.
50. And what do you think, what is that in training in Japan which cannot be found in the West?
Es una buena pregunta.
This is a very good question.
Pero la verdad siento decirte que, excepto con Hatsumi Sensei, porque es una persona única y carismática,
Well, I have to tell you, except with Hatsumi, the Grandmaster is really exceptionally person.
he encontrado muchos conocimientos y he encontrado mucho buyu como amigo de artes marciales
He found a lot of friends in Budo art and a lot of knowledge.
en muchos maestros occidentales, tanto europeos como norteamericanos y sudamericanos.
And there are masters from South America, from Europe and from the United States.
Pienso que no es un problema de nacionalidades, es un problema de personas.
This has nothing to do reality with nationality, this has to do with human character.
Realmente la persona que tiene el carisma es Hatsumi Sensei.
The people that has the charisma there is Hatsumi Sensei.
Él tiene un magnetismo
He
especial.
is a magnetic
Y
person.
nosotros todos estamos alrededor de él porque es, como decía Akira Hino en el libro Kokoro no Katachi, él representa lo inalcanzable.
So for us he is a kind of magic because we are all around him and like in the book of
Kokoro no Katachi from Akira Hino,
in this book they say it's something, it's supernatural,
sí, es algo que no se puede alcanzar.
something that you cannot reach.
Por eso seguimos entrenando con él.
That's why we are together with him.
Pero cada país y cada persona encuentra cosas diferentes, muy agradables, que aportan mucho para la vida de uno.
And in every country that he visited, he found a lot of people that are very well prepared and he's learning a lot.
Hay gente tan maravillosa alrededor del mundo,
There's so beautiful people all around the world,
pero eso también existía antes, ¿no?
but this also was before.
Pero quizás por Hatsumi Sensei ahora sé encontrar lo mejor.
So the good thing is that Hatsumi Sensei, you put these people together so you can find them now.
O sea que cuando voy a Japón o cuando voy a, por ejemplo, si Hatsumi Sensei hubiera vivido en Hungría, yo hubiera venido a Hungría a estudiar con él.
For example, he's going to Japan because he's there, but if he would live in Hungary, he would go to Hungary.
No voy al país, voy a buscar al maestro.
He's looking for the master, so the country is not the issue. It's where is the master.
And we mentioned some things here about the human relationships and friendships. As you said, there are so many great people in the world, not only in the Bujinkan, but in the world. And Hatsumi Sensei helps us to see this and to get connected to each other. My question is, what do you think? How much people of the different countries, I mean Bujinkan members of the different countries, are open towards each other? Did you experience any kind of more friendly attitude, which is not there without the Bujinkan or without Hatsumi Sensei? Are people more open because of being a Bujinkan member? Are they more open towards each other, or what do you think?
Creo que la práctica de las artes marciales, especialmente la Bujinkan, te conlleva a tener una mentalidad abierta.
I think that especially if you're practicing martial arts and especially Bujinkan, it gives you more open mind generally.
Trabajamos artes marciales para ser más fuertes espiritualmente.
We work on our martial arts to be spiritually more strong.
Eso nos lleva también a ser más compasivos y benevolentes.
This makes us to be more compassionate.
Y benevolentes. Benevolentes.
It means
Ser afectivo con los demás, claro.
this makes us to do good things for people.
Entonces quiere decir que cuando tienes esta actitud, muchas cosas llegan a ti.
And you have this attitude, a lot of things are coming to you.
Puedes tener una actitud de estar frente al sol y ser brillante, o puedes tener una actitud de estar en la sombra y no ser tan brillante.
You can be in attitude and you're in the sun and enjoy the light of the sun, or you can be in the shadow.
Por ejemplo, la escuela Kukishinryu,
For example, in the school,
Kukishinryu,
Kukishinryu,
y una de las técnicas que utilizaba, y lo hablamos durante el seminario, era Tenri.
there was a technique that's called Tenri that we applied at the seminar.
Tenri significa la lógica del cielo.
It means the logic of the
Y
sky.
una de las lógicas era que en combate real siempre tenían que tener el sol en su espalda para que deslumbrase al enemigo.
So the idea was in the ancient time that you always have to have the sun back of you, helps you in a fight.
Quiere decir que el sol siempre tiene que estar contigo, la luz.
So the sun and the light always must be with you.
Tienes que ser una persona cálida,
You must be a warm person.
muy, muy importante.
It is very, very
Y esto
important.
se consigue a través del budo.
And you can find in the real Buddha.
En budismo
In the Buddhism,
se dice que hay 3 venenos, lo hablamos ayer.
there are 3 toxics that we spoke yesterday.
Uno de ellos es el apego,
There is if you love something very strongly,
que otro es pensar que todo es permanente y nada cambia.
and if you think that everything is permanent and nothing is changing.
Y el tercero es tener una mente cerrada.
And the third thing is that you have a closed mind.
Y evidentemente las medicinas para esos tóxicos son lo contrario, es que trabajar el desapego, la impermanencia de las cosas y la mente abierta.
And if you see of Oriental medicine, they are working exactly opposite. So they're working that you have an open mind, that you are not strongly in touch with something, that you're able to leave it, and you accept that the things are flowing, that they're changing.
No attachment.
Yes.
No, untouchment.
Yes. Yeah. And there is a question which very often comes up, especially when I talk, for example, in my friendly environment, because personally I'm Buddhist, and sometimes people ask me how can I compare the peaceful life with a martial art which is specialized for, among others, killing. So how could you explain how to find the balance?
Se dieron muchos casos en el pasado en la historia de Oriente en el que muchos monjes se convirtieron en monjes guerreros para defender su territorio y su monasterio.
So this has to do a lot with history, because in ancient time a lot of monks, they had to self-defense them in a hostile ambient to live their religion in their monastery.
La guerra parece una condición, y con ello la violencia, ¿no? Parece una condición única en el ser humano.
Seems that war and the violence is something unique in humanity.
Entonces cuando hablamos de un arte marcial, hablamos de un arte marcial tradicional.
When we speak of martial art, we're not speaking of traditional
Un arte marcial tradicional hablamos de filosofía, artes marciales y al mismo tiempo hablamos de medicina.
So if we speak of martial art, we are speaking Bujinkan of medicine and philosophy.
Por lo cual quiere decir que no es que tuviese o se orientase solo hacia un lado, sino que trabajaba todos los lados.
It's not that you are going in one direction, means on one side. You are going on all sides.
Una vez estábamos sentados con un lama
One day we were sitting down with a lama
tibetano
from Tibet,
y un alumno mío le hizo una pregunta, le dijo, sí, pero yo soy artista marcial, si alguien me viene a golpear, yo me tengo que defender.
so when people ask the lama, but okay, I'm a student of martial arts, if someone comes to me, I go to
Y
defense myself.
el lama le dijo, pues sí, vale, pero en lugar de matarlo, romper el brazo.
But the lama said, yeah, okay, it's valid, but instead of killing, you're just breaking his leg.
¿Okay? ¿Qué quiere decir con eso? Que incluso en la visión de un monje,
What does it mean? In the vision of
la vida y la muerte es una opción del ser humano, o sea, es parte de la vida.
life and death is an option, it's
Y
part of life.
en la visión de un artista marcial,
In the vision of a martial artist,
la primera escena en un combate, en una acción, es evitarlo.
and the first thing that you have to have in your mind is not to fight.
El segundo
Avoid
es
the fight.
defenderse.
And then you defend yourself.
Y si no queda más opción, atacar.
And if you don't have an option, then you attack.
Ese es el Sanchi no Kata del Budo, ¿no?
It's the essential cut of Pudo.
Okay.
And since we are here at this spiritual topic, sometimes it comes up that there are people who are involved in many other things, not only this Bujinkan, but some maybe meditation, yoga, what else, some healing practices, spiritual paths. And the question is that how much can a teacher involve these things in the curriculum that he teaches, which is maybe not originally in the Bujinkan, or we don't know about this, or what is your opinion about this?
Primero que somos seres humanos y que tú puedes practicar, tenemos tantas cosas que aprender y tanto que nos espera, ¿verdad?
Okay, we are human beings. There's so many beautiful things in the world around.
Tenemos que aprender de una forma multidireccional, no
Yes.
unidireccional.
You have to be in multi-direction. You just can't be on one way.
Pero llega un momento en el cual tú tienes que crear prioridades en tu vida.
But then one day comes the point that you have to give a purity in your life.
Por lo cual, algunos hemos decidido que el Budo es nuestro motor primario
And some say Pudo is our main driving motor.
y este Budo nos permite investigar en otros campos, como la medicina, el budismo, el yoga.
Buddha helps
y-
us to investigate in yoga, in Tai Chi, in Buddhism, in
Entonces,
Oriental medicine.
yo no creo que haya ningún problema de antagónico.
There's no antagonic problem.
Pienso que es todo lo contrario, entre más investigues, es mucho mejor.
The more you investigate it, much better for you.
Pero un día tienes que decidir cuál es tu motor primario, tu prioridad.
But you have to find for yourself which will be your prime motor.
Porque es curioso, ¿no? ¿Te acuerdas que hablábamos en el Kukisim con el sol?
We were speaking before about the sun, the importance
Pero
of the
eso es
sun.
curioso porque por el día era el sol, pero por la noche era la estrella del norte.
But in night, they said they were guiding the North Star,
Se llama Hokushin.
Hokushin.
Porque siempre hay una prioridad, una guía donde tenemos que...
There always is a light that you have to follow, and it's a priority light that you have to should be your guidance.
And let's just return back to the seminars around the world. And I wanted to ask you, you've been to so many countries, you've seen so many people, and what do you think is generally a problem in the knowledge of the people, I mean of the Bujinkan practitioners? What do you think are the weak points generally for most of the people, and how could these weak points be cured, or how could they work on developing these skills?
Quiero entender, ¿no? Igual, quiero entender cuáles son los puntos débiles de estas personas
Sí,
alrededor del
exactamente,
mundo.
porque hay tanta gente ya, Bujinkan es muy amplio.
Yo soy una persona muy abierta, por lo cual siempre veo primero los puntos positivos de esas personas. Son tantos y es uno por uno, no es todo el grupo, ni es por países.
So he said, I mean, it's a big universe, but he's always trying to see first all the positive aspects, and it's varying every person, and this is varying from every country. There's nothing common, it's something individual.
Sí podría decir que todos, incluido yo mismo,
I want to say that everyone, including myself,
deberíamos desarrollar más la tolerancia con las personas en el mismo camino.
we should open our tolerance for the people that are on the same way.
Quizás ese sea uno de los puntos débiles, pero de todo, ¿no? Incluso del ser humano actualmente, ¿no?
Maybe this is one of the baby points that we are not so adapted to it naturally.
Hay tanta intolerancia por tanta falta de comunicación.
There's so many intolerance because there's a lack of communication.
Es tan fácil de verlo, tantas guerras alrededor del mundo, ¿no?
That's why we have so many useless wars around the world.
So this is something that all of us could work on to make the place better on. Well, I think our time is pretty much up, so thank you very much for all
It's a pleasure.
valuable points. And you can listen to this interview soon, hopefully, on the Kutaki podcast.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can sometimes see you contributing to the forums.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much to Eva for conducting that interview, and thank you very much to Pedro for agreeing to be interviewed for the podcast. I think one of the strong points about the Bujinkan is the truly international nature of the whole organization and the way that Hatsumi Sensei has fostered that. And I really enjoyed the interview. It brought out so many good points, and it's really good to train with Hatsumi Sensei, of course, as Pedro is doing and has been to Japan so many times, and it's really good to train also with senior teachers like Pedro who have traveled all around the world and have such a broad perspective, not only on martial arts but also on just humanity and culture in general. It gives such a wide perspective on everything really, and like Pedro said, it's not about only one point or proceeding in one direction, but it's like a multi-directional thing where you're learning about so many things at the same time. Yeah, that was a great interview. Thanks again, Eva, for doing that. And this basically wraps up this episode. We are going to, however, close off with some more music from the same band, Kaplin, which we started off with. And the song we will be finishing off with is called Where Did It All Go Wrong? Not such a positive title, but I like the song, so here it is as the closing song. So please look forward to episode 31 coming out hopefully before the end of November. Thanks for listening, everyone, and see you again next time.
come of this? This is the last time you'll see my face before I stumble and fall. Will fall from grace. I'm sorry for the pain I caused. Everybody's got their flaws and treat you like a moth to the flame. I'm not the man you thought I am. Find someone who gives a damn, someone who could ease your pain. And don't keep asking yourself, where did it all go wrong? And don't keep asking yourself, how did it come to this? And don't keep asking yourself, where did it all go wrong? And don't keep asking yourself, 'cause no good can come of this. Can come of this. Cause everything you ever claimed, everything I never gave, in the end you couldn't wait. All the things you hunted for, everything you wanted more than I could appreciate. Sorry for the pain I caused. Everybody's got their flaws until you light them up to the flame. I'm not the man you thought I am. Find someone who gives a damn, someone who could ease your pain. Yeah, yeah. Don't keep asking yourself, where did it all go wrong? And don't keep asking yourself, how did it come to this? And don't keep asking yourself, where did it all go wrong? And don't keep asking yourself, 'cause no good can come